throat, about to start choking. But with me here, as always.
Oh, Catherine Toth Fox, Hawaiʻi Magazine. Also, man, we've done more episodes on Zoom and at home than we have in the office.
That is 100% true.
Wow. I don't even know what you look like anymore.
Like this. Like the human you see here.
Man.
Yeah, it's
been that long? I guess so.
It's been over a year.
No, it's been
way over a year
and a half, way over a year, because what is it? March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So it's been a year and 6 months already.
My goodness. Remember, man, I always keep saying this, but I just remember leaving the office and being like, oh gosh, well, I better make sure I have everything because it's going to be 2 weeks. And then
I know
we'll have my stuff for 2 weeks. And then it became much more than 2 weeks.
I remember leaving in March, and then there was news later on about Google and some other tech companies allowing their workers to stay home for the whole year. And I was like, they're so lucky. Wow, that's crazy. I'm like,
not crazy. In fact,
oh.
You know, it was funny too, or I don't know. It's not funny, obviously, definitely not funny. But there was that whole push to flatten the curve. Remember, we have 14 days to flatten the curve.
Yeah.
And that curve did not.
No, but I mean, a month ago, we only averaged 40 cases. Not even that. I don't even think it was even that high.
No.
40 cases or something
like that. We
did
flatten the curve for quite some time.
Yeah. I mean, people were, now it's skyrocketed. I mean, but I remember for a long time, it was pretty low. Our positivity rate was low.
Yeah.
And we were talking about, moving back to the office. A lot of my friends had gone back to the office this summer.
Right.
I know
a lot of people who have gotten called back in. I mean, but
it's insane.
You know what? I'm pretty comfortable here in my kitchen, making it work. So yeah, this, if you listen to our last episode of the Have Aloha Will Travel podcast,
you should listen to,
which you should, so good. Because that was a Q&A that we did with your questions. And we said at the end of that podcast, again, if you listen, you'd know this already, we're going to do a part 2 with the additional questions that you guys have provided for us. And we got a lot of great questions, and we're going to answer them right now. Kat and I have picked out some of our favorites, and yeah, we're gonna go over them. This will probably be our last Q&A podcast for a little bit, so get it while you can. And if you missed it, again, watch last week's one, because we answer a bunch of questions in that one, probably more than we're going to answer in this episode. And there's also a Q&A we did a long time ago, Kat. I forgot what episode that is, but it'll be in the show notes, that you should also check out if you have Hawaii questions. But let's get started. So
what is that? Which one was that?
Gosh, it was a pretty early one, maybe 20s, maybe low 30s.
No, was it that long ago that we did a Q&A? No, really?
Fill for time, real quick. Fill for time.
Okay. Thanks. Yeah, I'm doing I will answer one question right now, since it's really easy. Chris B wanted to know why Hawaii is so far away from Germany. It is 7,000 miles away. I had to look it up. It's 11,000 kilometers, whatever.
That is, why are we so far?
Well, I mean, tectonics. I mean, I can get into it, but yeah. But it was just, I'm sure it was rhetorical, but I remember taking a flight from here to Munich. Did I go into Munich? I flew into Munich or Berlin. I can't remember. Man, that was long.
How long was that?
I don't know, but I know from here to Europe with flight, because we don't have any direct flights. Obviously, we have to fly from here to San Francisco, or from here to some other, city, and then to New York, or whatever route you're going. And it takes about 24 hours.
Oh, I remember when I flew to Bali, with all the layovers and stuff, I think it was about 30 hours of just travel time.
It sucks.
I was way off. Our last Q&A was episode 51, in fact.
Oh, geez, that's not that long ago.
Really not long at all. But
that's why I asked. I couldn't believe it would have been that long ago. I just feel like that's crazy.
Yeah, I was way off. But hey, all right. We got to get down to it. Because
I did. I answered one question. You're welcome, Chris.
That's
I
actually
don't know why it's so far away, and it shouldn't be.
not an answer.
I love
Deutschland. Okay. Next question. One question down, 5 to go.
Okay.
This one we got from Hayato Project with a K on Instagram. And he was wondering how many beer breweries there are in Hawaii. This is a question that I can't answer as well, but I can tell you about some of the really fantastic beer breweries that we do have in here. I mean, it's cool because actually Hawaii has I feel like we actually do have a lot of breweries. Like there's a big home brew, community here. And I think one of the breweries here that kind of spearheaded that movement was Beer Lab Hawaii. Or they kind of spearheaded like doing it yourself, like workshops. They'll hold workshops. They're right here on University.
No, they're not. Are they still there?
I think they're still there. Do they not still have that location there?
I don't know. I mean, I wrote about them like in 2016 or something when they first opened. They're three, I don't know. They work at Pearl Harbor, these three friends, and they opened Beer Lab at University and they had their production facility there. I don't know. I'm not sure if they still have it.
They have 3 locations.
Right. Did you look them up?
One in University.
Okay.
One in Waikiki and one in Pearl Ridge.
Yes. Okay. I guess it's still there. I know they don't do food. That's their whole thing is like BYOF, bring your own food.
Yeah.
But the Pearl Ridge location, they do have a kitchen that's like connected to the tap room or
they do.
Whatever. Yeah. And they have these food trucks that work out of the kitchen. So good. Sister Chuck and Flying Ahi, like 2 of my favorites actually.
Oh, yeah. So they're a pretty big, like if you want, home brewed like beer, like brewery. I'm not a big
They're not home brewed.
No, but
I can't say that. They're craft.
They're craft like beer.
Small batch brewery. Yeah. Very interesting flavors. Very unique.
Their menu is very intriguing.
It is.
They have a lot of different flavors on tap. I think it's a really cool place to go. And again, I actually met the guys as well when I was doing a project in college, because that's when they opened, was when I was in college. So I did a project interviewing them, and they were all very passionate about craft beer.
Super nice guys.
Super nice guys. So
I'm excited for them.
There's also, Maui Brewing Company is one of our biggest breweries in the state. Pretty much. They have locations all across Oʻahu and Maui. So, that's a really great place to go if you want to kind of see what like the standard is here, I guess. I really like their pale ales. Kat, do you have an opinion on beer?
I don't drink beer. My husband is like a huge beer drinker.
Oh,
he's
is he?
He's been home brewing for years. Yeah.
Okay, well, you can go to Kat's house and talk to her husband. And
God, he likes like sour stuff. Like they have sour beers. That's kind of his jam right now. I don't know. It's a thing. And then he's a big IPA guy. Like a lot of people.
Who's also a big IPA guy? Kona Brewing Company, not a guy, but also another big brewery here in Hawaii.
Although, it's interesting because they're part of Anheuser-Busch, right? So there's always this like question of whether or not their beer is really local. But if you go to the Kona brew pub or their brewery on the Big Island, they do actually they still craft beer there. So there are some on tap that you can only get in Kona, which is kind of cool. What
was that place we went to? We met the 2 guys.
Hawaii
Beer Company.
The one run by the father and son.
Yeah.
Yes.
That place was really cool. Beer. They make all their stuff right in the back. And they built
all their equipment. Remember? That was so crazy. Yeah.
That was my favorite part, is like the son didn't really know too much about like all this stuff, and he built all their equipment, like all of their.
Wasn't he like a professional ballroom dancer too, or something?
Yeah, and then he was like a programmer. He had quite the life. So that's actually a really cool place to check out on Kauai if you're around. And they also have really great, German food? They had like schnitzels.
They did. They were doing German pub food for a while. I don't know what happened because of COVID, because everything is so different now. But yeah, they had just purchased the property next door or something, right? And we're expanding their dining room and everything. So that's cool. There's tons.
Really funky looking room.
Yeah, there's tons here. There's like Aloha Beer, obviously one of the pioneers of the craft brew artisan craft beer movement in Hawaii. And Yeah, there's a ton. I mean, you just look it up, you'll find a bunch of different.
Does every place with like brewing company or like beer co, do they all like, are they brewing their own beer? Because there's like Waikiki Brewing Company on Queen Street, but I don't know if they actually like brew their own, like.
No, they do.
They do? Oh, okay.
They have their own. And there's some kind of weird law here about if you brew on site, like your production facilities on site, you can serve your alcohol or you can't serve your alcohol or something like that. But there are tap rooms. So like Grace and Growlers in Kailua, they don't make their own beer, but they serve like a lot of local like brews.
Sure.
Or oh gosh, there's that Village Bottle Village Bottle Shop.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. They don't make their own beers, but they serve a lot of local brews. So
also, if you're interested, there's also a sake distillery on Queen Street. They make sake.
There are two, right? Islander sake.
Yeah, I think that's
and there's a shochu and on the north, which reminds me, I need to pick up my bottles of shochu from Ken.
Right. Yeah, there's a guy who just makes shochu on the North Shore.
Out of Hawaii grown potatoes, sweet potatoes.
Korean hard liquor. Yeah, so.
It's not Korean hard liquor.
Not Korean?
No, it's Japanese. Who are you? You're just making up stuff.
It's a Q&A. I get to make up the answers.
I just went to we have a couple of meaderies in the state, one on Kauai, Nani Moon Meadery, which is like the oldest meadery here. So mead is alcohol made with honey. Right. And I just went to Manoa Meadery, which is not in Manoa. It's in Wahioa.
Very
which is like, by Schofield Barracks, kind of such I know. Anyway, what's cool about them, and not many meaderies do this, is that the guy that owns the meadery also owns beehives. So he started off as a honey company, selling honey, which he still does. But during COVID, he pivoted and started to make mead because everybody was drinking their sorrows, I guess.
Sure.
Anyway, he's one of the few meaderies in the US that is also like produces mead from his own honey, which is kind of cool, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, as long as we're talking about the self-production of alcohol, there's also Volcano Winery on the Big Island, which is really cool. They have all their own grape bushes. I don't know Hawaiian.
Vineyard, grape bushes.
Yeah, they have their own.
Wow, we did a ton of research for this question.
Hey, we actually gave a lot of answers though. The question is, there are a lot of breweries and there are a lot of places to get alcohol. Yeah, a Volcano Winery is really cool. You can do a tasting. You can do a tour of the vineyard as well. Again, I'm not too sure right now because of COVID. Regulations are in place.
I don't know. And then Maui Wine and Ulupalakua too. And that place is fun. Did we ever drive up there? Did we drive up there?
I don't think we did. No, I don't think we did.
Anyway, I've been up there a bunch of times. Also fantastic wine. I do buy their stuff. You can buy their stuff at like any grocery store. I don't know about Volcano Winery. I feel like that's harder to find. Like
I think you can find it at like KTA's like on Big Island, but I don't think they're island wide or statewide. So hopefully we answered your question, Hayato. There are a lot of breweries here in Hawaii. People really like to get drunk here. It's true. We don't all drink Heinekens.
No, and we could go into rum. We have vodka. I mean, anyway, there's a whole litany of alcohol. Okay. There's no way to segue. Are we done with that question?
Yeah. Sorry, I was breaking up a little bit, but we're back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can't find this guy's. Oh, here we go. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Kate Morena Speaks on Instagram asked just kind of generally asked about Hawaii and wheelchair access. So, this is near and dear to my heart because my husband broke his leg and his knee.
Yeah, I guess so.
So I've been pushing him around in a wheelchair.
All about wheelchair access right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's unfortunate that I do, but it's interesting. I had to do some research on this, and I had done research before because this question came up. I think someone asked me personally about it. And I frequent Waikiki, as everyone knows, like I'm always in Waikiki. And I remember this one time there was a whole group of travelers in wheelchairs from Japan that had come, And it was a big group of them. And I guess in Japan, you know, as you know, you've been to Japan, like it's very hard to get around in wheelchairs because everything is narrow and elevators are far away at the train stations, and like getting into an izakaya is like practically impossible. I don't know what their ADA is like there, but anyway, I was talking with one of them and they said they come here because there are so many things to do that's wheelchair accessible. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Anyway, you know, obviously we have an ADA law here. Our city buses are outfitted for wheelchair access. So folks want to get around on those. But there's also like different companies that will rent medical equipment. I can give that list. You can put in the show notes where you can actually rent wheelchairs here if you don't want to travel with them. And then of course the airlines are all ADA compliant. So a lot of people don't know this. Well, aside from the fact that most major attractions are wheelchair accessible. So that would be the USS Arizona Memorial, right? Iolani Palace, Polynesian Cultural Center. There are even helicopter tours that can accommodate a wheelchair, but you need to call ahead of time and find out if they can or not. And some cruises or ocean vessels, if you're looking to do whale watching, some of them do have ways to accommodate folks in wheelchairs. So you just have to call. I know for a fact that the zoo is wheelchair accessible because I did have to push my husband around the zoo at one point, Maui Ocean Center. So a lot of the major attractions are going to have wheelchair like ramps and things like that. What I think a lot of people don't know is that the city and county, and I believe all counties, have beaches that are wheelchair accessible. Right. So I don't know if you've seen this. Waikiki has it. Ala Beach Park has it. I think even like Ehukai Beach Park has it. Those like blue mats. Yeah. So that's this, I used to think it was for triathletes. I know that sounds really ignorant of me, but because at Ala Beach Park, that's the path that if you're in it, because I've done triathlons, that's where you run to jump in the water. So I always thought, it's for the triathletes.
Yeah, so they don't have to run in the sand and burn extra energy.
Yeah, I don't even know. I was very myopic in my thinking. But anyway, so these provide like a firm, flat surface on the soft sand. And it's usually it stops at the high water mark. So it allows you to get, I guess, into the water or whatever, but then you think about how do you get from like the parking lot there? So you can actually call the city and you can borrow, I don't know if there's a fee, but you can get all-terrain wheelchairs.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they're equipped with like these big yellow oversized rubber tires that can roll across soft sand or uneven terrain without sinking. I don't know if a lot of people know that. And there are various sites where they offer these all-terrain wheelchairs. So Kualoa Beach Park is one, Kailua Beach Park. There's different spots in towns like Ala Beach Park, Kuhio Beach Park, San Susi, which is like Kaimana Beach, Pokai Bay, incidentally, and of course Hanama Bay is wheelchair accessible. And then there are other places that have beach mats. So Waimea Beach Park has one on the North Shore, Ali'i Beach Park in Haleiwa, Ehukai, Waimanalo. So there's some that have both wheelchair mats and these all-terrain wheelchairs, and then others that just have the beach mats. So, and then other counties have similar programs.
Your husband is well taken care of.
He's going to have, so like he fell on June 4th and he's not going to be off crutches until the end of September. Yeah.
Wow.
It's so fun.
You should get involved with, I was recently doing some interviewing for a upcoming story that we're going to be doing.
Right.
Access Surf, which is like a really awesome community for people with disabilities. It's not just if you're physically crippled, but it's also if you have, mental disabilities and really kind of, it's really cool. I was talking to their executive director and she says that they will take anyone, regardless of age or disability.
Like my husband.
They'll take Kai. They'll take your husband. And they have these, again, COVID, haha, they put an asterisk around everything. Because of COVID, they can't really do as many of their beach days as they normally do. But normally they do these it's called Day at the Beach. It's kind of their signature event where they, they'll take people with disabilities and they'll go surfing and get them in the water. And they're really just a great resource. Again, if you are curious about, wheelchair accessible stuff, if you didn't have all your questions answered from Kat, they're a really great place to call as well. Yeah, they're just super knowledgeable and super friendly and good people.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, I think we answered your question. Who did that come from again?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Okay.
Wasn't it? I know who it was. Kate Morana Speaks. Yes.
Wow, did you just remember that?
Yeah.
That was impressive. Okay, cool. I have the person here on my notes in front of me, Mr. Brooks. Your next question coming from Mr. Brooks. He's looking for great Hawaii photographers that sell their shots, sell their photos.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I really took the easy ones, I gotta say.
Yeah, you did.
Well, first of all, I think if you want to buy really awesome photos of Hawaii landscapes and Hawaii landmarks, you should check out our Shopify. Kat, what's our Shopify?
HawaiiMagazine.com/shop.
Yep.
I hope. Let me double check. It should be. Yes, it is.
It is.
Yeah.
It's easy. HawaiiMagazine.com/shop. We have we have a really great photography on there from Aaron K. Yoshino, who is our current staff photographer, and he takes really wonderful shots, as well as David Croxfer, who was our staff photographer and also took really incredible shots. So if you're looking for that, we sell prints and we ship. But there's also a lot of other really wonderful Hawaii photographers out there. I mean, I'm a little biased, but I think Clark Little has some really great photos. If you're not looking to buy, his prints are a little bit expensive. So if you're not looking to buy like a full print, he actually has a book called Shore Break that has a ton of really awesome shots. And that's almost the cost of one print. So if you're looking for quantity, that's a really good way to go. It's funny, Clark Little, his one of his barrel shots was actually the front page of my high school planner at Wailoa High.
Really?
Yeah, like it was the cover of my planner was this Clark Little barrel shot.
That's very interesting.
Yeah, so weird story. There's also I don't know if this name is familiar to you, Kat, but Andrew Shoemaker. He has been in our photo contest a couple of times. He's in fact won. He takes really stunning shots of all islands. There's also Extreme Exposure on Hawaii Island. They do really awesome lava shots. So if you really like to see the lava that you can see on Hawaii Island, they really got a lot of shots, especially when it was flowing and erupting. They got a lot of really, really stunning shots of that kind of once in a lifetime sort of thing. They also sell calendars, which I don't use calendars anymore, but people use calendars. Sure. I don't own a physical calendar, but I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure they exist. There's also the Cesare. I hope I'm saying that right. Cesare Brothers. Is that how you say that, Kat?
I don't know. Not sure.
They're in Maui. They actually have a studio in Paia, but I think we worked with them on a story, the underwater diving story. Was that? Oh, shucks. Maybe that wasn't them. We did a story about them at some point. I'll put it in the show notes. I'm forgetting the exact subject, but they do a lot of really cool underwater photography. They'll go out even at night and kind of take some interesting shots.
Oh, that's cool.
So you kind of get a different perspective. I forgot to mention real quick, Extreme Exposures, they have a studio in Hilo if you want to check that out. And then Clark Little, is his studio still up in Haleiwa?
I feel like I just saw something on his Instagram and I can't remember now, but yeah, you can follow him on Instagram for his updates.
Right. Yeah, he had a studio in Haleiwa. I don't know if it's still around. It says it's still open on Google. So it's in the Haleiwa store lots. If you see it there, then it's still open. But I think those are just kind of a general list of some really, really talented photographers. I mean, there's also just a lot of, if you just go on our Instagram, like Hawaii Magazine's Instagram, we share a lot of really wonderful photos from local photographers. So follow us on there if you want those. And a lot of those guys, though, they're kind of more just like Instagram photographers, but right. I'm sure if you message them, you could also possibly work out a way to get a print. Who doesn't like to make a little bit of money? So follow us on Hawaii Magazine, and our digital media manager, Taylin, does a really great job of curating like really good shots of Hawaii landscapes.
For sure.
That's okay, Kat, you have another question, right? Or is that?
My God, I did. Well, okay. This is going to answer a ton of people's questions, like all at once.
Just get them all done with.
Well, we had a lot of questions with regard to traveling to Hawaii right now during COVID. And I get it. There's a lot of fluctuation in our COVID counts, and this is not just isolated to Hawaii. I mean, this is across the world. Right now we're experiencing a surge because of the Delta variant. And so our numbers are way, way, way higher than they were this summer. But just so everyone knows, just right off the bat, there have been no changes to our travels program as of yet. So right now, the current program stands. So we had a bunch of questions. I mean, I can call out some of these people's names. There was Lorena Cost, our Vaccine Americans Welcome Now. There's a bunch of people who asked about Europeans traveling here, Australians or international travelers coming to Hawaii. So, and Canadians, that was another one. So I'm gonna, and I think Gan Yu Urbano asked what the current COVID-19 travel requirements are. Do I still need to have a negative COVID test? So let me go through all of that. Just for reference, if you want to get the latest information on COVID-19 in Hawaii, so that's data, that's any kind of restrictions, mask mandate, all that stuff, travel included, is hawaiicovid19.com. And that is a state managed part of the Department of Health. And anyway, that's like the official site for COVID-19 related information about Hawaii. So hawaiicovid19.com. So let me just quickly go over what it is that is in place right now. And it hasn't changed since the summer, but we do have a vaccination exception program as part of our Safe Travels program. That means that any traveler was fully vaccinated in the US or US territories can travel to Hawaii with a valid proof of vaccination, as long as you're 15 days outside of your second shot. So if you did the 2-shot series, Pfizer, Moderna, you have to be 15 days after your second shot. If you did the 1-shot series, which is Johnson & Johnson, it's 15 days after that shot. And it's okay if you mix Moderna and Pfizer. I guess that question's come up as well. You are able to come here without COVID testing, without quarantine. You're just free to go. You have to do a few things. So we both did this, so we know. You have to create an account on the Safe Travels website, which is travel.hawaii.gov. You upload your vaccination card. And then within 24 hours of the actual travel, you have to fill out like a health questionnaire online. It's very simple. That's it. You should bring your hard copy. I don't know if they still require it. I feel like I've heard people have asked for it and people haven't. Yeah. But I would bring your vaccination card. You can laminate your vaccination card. That's okay. The state said it was okay. That's what you do if you're fully vaccinated. U.S. territories are America, Samoa, D.C., Federated States of Micronesia. I had to look this up. Guam, Marshall Islands, Northern Mariana Islands, Palau, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands. So D.C. is included in that. I know that's come up as well. If you have a child between 5 and over 5 not vaccinated, they will have to have a negative COVID-19 test, from a verified testing, whatever. If they are under 5, they don't need to be vaccinated or show proof of negative COVID test. If you are not vaccinated, you will need to take a COVID-19 test, prove that you're negative. You need to take this test no more than 72 hours before the departure time of whatever is the last flight coming to Hawaii. Because if you have connecting flights, if you're from New York or to Seattle, okay. If you are, COVID positive, don't come, please. If you have a pending test or whatever, or don't have a test at all, you're going to be required to quarantine for 10 days before you're allowed to frolic in Hawaii. So that's what it is. There's a lot of questions about international travelers. If you are coming from an international destination, so if you're coming from Australia or coming from Canada, you are not eligible. Even if you have if you are vaccinated in the US, if you are coming from an international city, you are not eligible to participate in this program. Now, if you are from Canada and you come in through Seattle, which is a US port city, and you're fully vaccinated in the US, I believe that's okay. You know what I mean? If you're a
You know.
Canadian citizen, but you were vaccinated in America and you're coming through America, an American city, I think that's okay. And then by the time we hit 70% vaccination rate statewide, which is going to be, I think, in a while, because we are at like 61%,
Right.
all travel restrictions are supposed to be lifted, and that's anybody can come to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Right now, inter-island travel is like no restrictions.
Right.
It's kind of a lot.
It is absolutely a lot.
But that's what it is. I mean, I can't.
Also, it could change.
I know it could change like today.
Honestly, you could watch this and everything Kat would be saying right now might be wrong because it could all change.
I know. So the best thing to do is go to hawaiicovid19.com and just follow us. We will always have updated information regarding travel on our website, hawaiimagazine.com.
Right.
So you can look for that as well. But yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we're trying to summarize, man. It is a lot.
It is a lot. Yeah. Yeah. It's such a fragile thing we got going right now. And with the rising cases again, we've already had restrictions again on indoor and outdoor gatherings. So people.
Right. That all changed too. That's right. Because now it's, what is it? 10 indoors, 25 outdoors. Is that right?
Outdoors. Yep. And there's whisperings that there will be more announcements made. So you just gotta kind of, keep your ear close to the grapevine. Just call Kat, just text me.
Just email me. Well, and just so you know too, we had this question on the last episode. The mask mandate thing is kind of not controversial, and it really shouldn't be. But I know that people coming from different states where there are no mask mandates, or maybe there's different mask mandates, come here and expect that to be similar, and it's not. Right. So it is state to state. It is in some cases city to city, county to county. So you just have to respect the rules of that particular, wherever you're traveling to.
Yeah. I think
just follow the rules.
That's just part of being a responsible traveler. Just in general, just respect the rules and the customs wherever you're going. Right. And you'll have a really good time. Definitely. Okay, this is our last question, kind of a more open-ended one. Kat, I know you have a lot of opinions about this. I also have a lot of opinions about this. It is from Bobby Cowley. And they were wondering, we get this question a lot too, actually. How hard is it to move to Hawaii? Oh
my God.
All right, go ahead. You say your piece, I'll say mine.
I mean, logistically, it is hard because we're an island. So you're going to have to ship everything here. Right. So logistically, it's a pain in the ass. Like you're going to have to ship your car, or you can buy a car here, I guess. The cost of living here is much higher. And I feel like if you are serious about moving here, I mean, some cases people have no choice. Like you get deployed. I mean, you get transferred here, or you're in the military. I mean, whatever. But if you are making a conscious choice to be here, I would recommend visiting and really getting to understand how it is to live here. And don't just go by your friends who recently moved here or whatever, or your rich friends who moved here. I mean, really, it is, there is a lot of sticker shock when you go to the store. I mean, things here are much, much more expensive. And the pay here is much lower than you would think for a state that has such a high cost of living. So people think, oh, like San Francisco, high cost of living, but the pay is so much greater there than it is here. So you are not necessarily, unless you're like balling, it's hard to make a living here and think that you're going to live in some beach bungalow. Like if you're watching like House Hunters or Fixer Upper on HGTV, sure, and you think you're going to come here and buy a house for $26,000 and put some little investment in, you can't even renovate your kitchen for $26,000. I mean,
you could maybe,
you know what I'm saying?
You could buy a beachfront, an empty lot for $500,000.
Yeah.
But that's an empty lot.
Exactly. And I think people don't understand too, because I watch Fixer Upper all the time and I'm like, I can't believe they're renovating an entire house for like $30,000 in Waco, Texas. And they're beautiful. I mean, we get estimates for like renovating, like putting up a rock wall and it's like $25,000. So I think people have to understand, like, moving here, it sounds easy, like just get on a plane, bring whatever, but actually living here is a whole different set of challenges.
Yeah, there's we also, so first of all, I want to say I'm not against people moving here, obviously. I mean, my parents moved here and that's why I'm alive here living in Hawaii. So it's like, I don't want that whole, like, I don't know. I feel like people think that locals are really against other people moving here. I am a product of people moving here, so don't worry about it from me. But yeah, it's really tough to move here, especially now. Like, it's only gotten tougher. Our median house price
is $1 million.
It's over $1 million, and it's still climbing.
That's the middle, not the high. That's like the middle.
That's the middle, and that's like a single family home. That's not like a nice,
No.
That's not like a 2-bedroom or anything. That's like, it's small. And that's over $1 million. And when my parents moved here, it was cheaper then. It was the 70s, or the 80s. So it was a little bit more affordable. Things are different now, especially like housing on the North Shore. Really, like I would say, enviable places to live, like the North Shore, or any kind of beachfront community. Those housing prices are, if you thought that is not the median, that is much, much higher. So as long as you're okay living in, really, like, I guess, middle of the island, kind of friendly places like Pearl City, Aiea, Salt Lake, there's options there. There's affordable housing, more on Kapolei, or not Kapolei, excuse me, Kapolei, excuse me. It's a lot of K-A-P names out there here. But yeah, it's tough financially. You have to make sure you have a lot of financial security, because a lot of people who live here rely on family. We have familial ties here. I know a lot of people who live with their parents, and that's not weird. A lot of people my age live with their parents because that is the only way you can afford to live in Hawaii.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's not weird or anything, like, but yeah, making it on your own and not having anyone you can rely on, again, financially, not your friends. Your friends aren't going to give you money. Not people that you don't have relatives here. It can be really tough, just financially. Again, there are certain fields where you can succeed here financially. I think if you work trades, like if you do construction, if you do trade work, right, you can make a tidy sum here, because that's a really in-demand trade. We have a lot of construction here in Hawaii. There's definitely tech. Like, I think people who work remotely and then move here, I mean, that's smart because you have that mainland salary, but you're living in Hawaii. As long as you have remote work, that's okay. I think maybe the biggest thing is that there's a lot of culture shock, and I've heard people move away because of this reason. Living on an island kind of sucks sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be real with you. There is not a lot of places to go.
No.
Like, that's the brutal, like when I was a kid, I mean, still sometimes I really dreamed about moving out of Hawaii, because it's like, you can see the whole island in 2 hours if you live on Oʻahu, and there's just not a lot of new experiences that are easily available to you. So a lot of people get, what is it called? Rock fever. That's a term here. Because people get it enough that they get bored on the island. You get bored of the beach for a while, right?
And you can't jump in your car. It's true. You can't jump in your car and drive anywhere like you can on the mainland. We don't have changes in seasons, which sounds great, but like, we don't have winter, we don't have snow, we don't have those things that kind of, create a dynamic, seasonal experience for people. It is kind of the same all day, all the time. It's like Groundhog Day. And if you're during COVID, it really feels like Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
And if you want to travel anywhere off island, you have to get off the island. You have to get on a plane and and it's expensive. So people think, oh, Hawaii's great because it's like in the middle of we are the most isolated, like livable island in the world. Which makes for amazing nature. And we have all these endemic, plants and animals and whatever here and all that beautiful stuff. But like, if you want to go anywhere, it's going to cost you $300, $400, $500 just to get on a plane per person.
And I'd also like to say, if you're a youth, if you're a young person,
if you're a youth,
I don't know.
Okay.
If you're someone who, if you're someone who really enjoys like a popping, like, no, you're not going to get that here.
It's not popping here.
Especially if you don't live in Honolulu. I mean, I don't want to talk smack about like outer islands, but like Honolulu is the closest thing we have to a city. So that's the closest thing you'll have to a poppin' young person scene. And even that is like,
I couldn't even name you 3 nightclubs.
Right.
Honestly.
Yeah. Like it's not, you're going to see the same people. Our scenes are so small. You're going to see the same people over and over again. It's not popping. But you know, if you like to surf, you know, if you like spending time outdoors, if you know, if you like really good local food, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to move to Hawaii. You know, it's just tough, man. It's just hard.
It is. I remember my cousin. So I'm like, whatever, 4th or 5th generation, 5th. I don't know. We're like a long time.
You're an old family.
Yeah. And my cousin who born and raised here, serves, was like lifeguard. Anyway, she moved like maybe when she was in her 30s, she moved to Minnesota for a job. And I was like, why would she go there? And she surfs, like she used to compete and everything. Anyway, she picked up snowboarding, obviously skiing and stuff. But I remember she said to me when she would come back to visit, you know, her family, she would always trip out that you have to circle parking lots here for parking, like at Safeway or at the mall, because up there, and there's so much more elbow room and so much more breathing space that, you know, she just, I don't have any problem driving to my grocery store and just pulling into a stall, like any time of day. But here, I don't think people understand, like we are really, really densely compacted. I mean, it seems like, oh, there's like 800,000 people on an island, but we are really close together. And I don't think I've ever rolled up to Ala Moana, like in the middle of the day, like shopping center, and found parking. Like it takes you a while to just find parking, like at Costco.
How many people live on Oahu? Just go on the H2 at 4:00.
Yeah, that's true.
You'll see just exactly how many people live on Oahu.
I mean, that's so bad now because everyone's people are working remotely, but man, I mean, you would sit in traffic for 2 hours each way. I mean, our art director used to sit in traffic 2 hours each way, just to come to town. And we live on an island. Like that just seems like totally crazy. So there are some frustrations living here. And also I would say my biggest advice to people who move here is don't like stay in your bubble, I guess. Like, I feel like a lot of transplants will stay in their bubble and they think of themselves as like, what do they call them when they live abroad? What do you call when you live abroad? You are a expat? What is that term? I can't think of it. No, it's
big fish.
Oh, it's gonna come to me, huh?
Big fish in a little pond?
No, it's like Americans that live abroad. They're called they have a term for those people. Expatriates.
Oh, I said expat.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Anyway, they kind of just like clump together and move around in these little like very small groups, and local people. I mean, it just feels weird. You need to integrate and be open-minded, and that's what I think.
For sure. I think when you come here, be sure to have an open mind, and you know, local culture is a little bit different than, you know, cultures in other places. Don't talk shit about people who talk pidgin. That is our thing here.
Like, or don't adopt it and then make fun of it. That's the most annoying thing.
Like,
I don't go to Texas and say yeehaw. So
you know, it's small stuff like that. But I mean, you know, people are pretty welcoming here, though. Like I've met a lot of guys who have come here from the mainland and the water, and they're just nice folk, you know, and they're you'll get along. There's a big maybe our last point. There's a big thing in Hawaii about showing respect. I don't know, like, you know, where that comes from exactly. We have a lot of different cultures here, but there's a big thing about like, if you show respect, you get respect, that kind of thing. And we really take that to heart here. So, you know, as long as you're respectful, you know, to the locals, and just respectful to our culture and our ways of doing things here. They might not be the same as where you came from, but you're not from where you are anymore. You're in Hawaii. So, but I think there's a lot of really great reasons to live in Hawaii. If you can do it, you know, it's definitely worth it. Sometimes I look out, sometimes I get frustrated at work or something, and I look outside and I can literally see Diamond Head, which is like, you know, something that people, you know, save up their whole lives to go on a trip and, you know, see the same thing I get to see every day. So I 100% understand like why people would want to move here. And I, you know, again, I'm
just know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. It's good to do your research. Definitely. It's not, it's not all perfect. You know,
on your next vacation, try go to Costco at 11 a.m.
We have one of the busiest Costco's in the nation, in fact. But I heard Costco is not really a thing in other states. Like people don't really like, people in New York don't know.
Because they can get cheap groceries at their regular grocery store. We have to go to Walmart and Costco. Come on.
Don't be surprised when you see the price of milk. It's more than you think.
Oh yeah. Or and eggs. Oh my God. Anyway.
Last point, real quick. If you are thinking about living here, maybe just do like a short-term rental or something, you know, like a month. Just live here for a month. Just see what it's like. And not like, don't live in a hotel. Like rent out, you know, live like, you know, a short-term rental. Buy groceries.
In a place that you're interested in living too. That would be smart, you know?
Yeah. Buy groceries, see what the commute is like, you know, and just get the feel for what it's like here. And then, you know, you can save yourself a lot of money and time if you find out, oh no, I hate this.
Yeah.
Definitely. Okay. Awesome. Well, I think we have answered all of your questions.
I am exhausted, Kevin.
This is like a 45-minute episode. I was waiting for the timer to go on.
Yeah, me too. Why didn't it cut us off? I don't understand.
It's just two people. I don't know. I think it's just because it's two people and we don't get the timer. Anyways, thank you all again for your questions. We will be back in 2 weeks with an exciting guest. So please tune into that. You can get all of our information at HawaiiMagazine.com. You can follow us on all of our social medias at Hawaii Magazine. Again, to the person who asked where to get photos, you can buy photography as well as a lot of our Hawaii Magazine products at hawaiimagazine.com/shop. We have a photo contest going on right now, so please submit your submissions if you think you have a great photo. And oh boy, howdy, I think that's it.
That's all.
That's all. That's it. That's all, folks.
All right. That was fun. I need a nap.
Yeah, me too. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. And we hope you have a great day, great weekend, great week. And mahalo. Bye-bye.
Bye.